Alright, what up? It's been like a month since we've made a video. Partially that's because we only had like 2 cards in the last month and they weren't that great. And I've been super anxious and looking forward to 280 and busy in life. So here we are. 280 is, the week of 280 is upon us. I want to go over this last card. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I really wasn't looking forward to it, but I made my picks, and but I feel like I owe to y'all guys. I always make the picks regardless if I like the card or not. I crammed last minute and made my decisions and put the picks in. So I'm just going to go over some of the matchups. Ultimately, I went 9-2 for this last card, this Fight Night. Starting from the beginning, Mike Jackson versus Pete Rodriguez. Just looking at Mike Jackson's last couple fights, I think like a eye gouge and a low blow or something, and then just looking at his history real easily, I didn't have to look much at Pete Rodriguez. I thought he was getting knocked out. I put it on my IG. If you see the stories and things, I put description under my picks and also my story. The dude's chin was just asking to be knocked out, and it happened. So, looking back, I wish I would have jumped on some prop bets. I didn't take any first rounds, knockouts, over-unders, or anything at all. I just took 2 small parlays. Won one of them, lost one. We'll get to that. But Mike Jackson, to me, just sucks. When I see him sitting here doing all this stuff and putting his hands around, but he doesn't have that Anderson Silva type speed, I knew he was going to lose. That one was a pretty easy pick. Shout out to ESPN for always having audio. Randomly jump in. Next fight, Tatsuo Tayari. I don't know how to say his name. Dude's legit. I'm pretty sure I watched his last matchup, but before, I wasn't doing my good list when we came around to that, but he is on the good list now, which I put out today, actually. So I added 2 people this week to the good list. If you don't know the good list, basically is like people that I think are up and coming or are worth betting on in their next fight. Pretty clear cut, unless they get some huge matchup way up the ladder, they're going to win. Doesn't necessarily mean they're brand new or they're at the bottom, but they're still not going to get like ranked opponents to somebody far-fetched, or they're amazing and it doesn't matter who you throw at them. Somebody like Jelton Almeida, it doesn't matter who you throw at them. So the kid Morales, it doesn't matter. They're going to win their next fights. I bet blindly on that, which I have done to somebody on 280. Doesn't matter. Muhammad Makayev, regardless of who he was fighting, I was taking him. So, sneak peek, taking him on the 280 card, 1,000%. In fact, I had him on a huge future bet that I shared with you a while back. But away from this kid was awesome. Vergara, looking at it was pretty obvious again, but when you saw the fight, it made all the sense in the world. This kid's just, was he like 20, 21, 22? 22. You could just tell there's something about him that he, I got my allergies. Just something about him. He was focused. Just kind of has that trance. Same thing with Makayev, or you'd see in Hamzai. Just, you knew he was the real deal. He's there to win, besides looking at their film and all that stuff and things they go through. Pretty easy pick. So picks that I was kind of weary about was Sam Hughes and Pierre Rodriguez. This fight, as well as the main event fight, and the Jordan Wright and Tori Davovic, whatever. Those 3 fights I really was kind of up in the air about if that could go either way. Not 50-50, but just those are the fights I was weary about. Ultimately, I took Pierre Rodriguez. I just thought that Sam Hughes, she was going to bleed. And depending what judges you have, it always looks bad when somebody starts bleeding. So they're going to hold that against her. Rodriguez's boxing was just a little too tight for me not to pick her. Early on, I was looking at Sam Hughes, and I think she's better than her record shows. But I thought maybe she'd try to take Rodriguez down some, and Rodriguez would be able to get out of it and just keep her boxing. She's really, really close in tight boxing. Um, at this point, she's just a straight up boxer. I just thought it'd be too much for Hughes, and it was correct. Brito and Lucas Alexander. There wasn't much film to watch on Lucas Alexander, so I leaned heavily on just Brito and how talented I think he is. Although I think in his last victory coming in and knocking out Feely, I just felt like Feely was a little off that night. When you see him in his last win against Bill Algeo, I believe, he looked a lot better. But before that, when he fought Brito, I just felt like he had things going on in his life, and he kind of shared this stuff. So he didn't look that focused. But either way, Joe Anderson shows he has the power to just get somebody to knock somebody out like that. That one was pretty clear to ride with him. If Lucas got him, then so be it. I just didn't. I think the experience and his power was going to be a little too much. Turned out I was right. So the next fight. So I won a parlay on Tatsuro, Rodriguez, and Brito. The first fight, I just didn't want any part of it. I don't know why. I don't know. As far as my parlay, but I got a small little parlay on these three. Maximov and Malkoun. I was back and forth on this. I liked Malkoun's wrestling, but when I looked at Maximov, it seemed like he'd be able to do enough to combat that wrestling and be able to stand up out of some of the takedowns if he got taken down. And in his last fight, I'm briefly looking at him again. This was the last fight that I actually picked Saturday morning. I was kind of behind, and I looked real quick at some film of these guys, and I've never actually seen either one of them fight. But Maximov just looked like he had a lot faster hand speed. And like I said, I thought he could stand up out of some of those takedown attempts. But I was wrong. When he came in, I know he had an injury. I haven't seen any update, honestly, on what his injury was. I'd like to know that right now. Look at this. See what people say on decision to go after blah, blah, blah. I'm like, see, I watched it. Again, this is how far behind him. I didn't watch any of the post-fight interviews, but it seemed like maybe he was a little injured going into the fight. He just seemed sluggish from the word go. Seemed kind of slow. Not what I picked him for. So early on, it was pretty obvious when he started wincing, which I've never really seen somebody. It seemed like he was overselling it. I've never seen somebody scream like "Woe, it's me" without actually doing it. Like, ooh, I'm hurting. Like, bro, either push through the pain, bite down your mouthpiece and keep fighting, or don't. But like to sit here and go, oh, I'm hurt, but no, I want to carry on. It's like he wanted brownie points and he knew he was going to lose. It's just like, at that point, throw in the towel or don't sit here and just tell your opponent what's going on with you. I felt it was kind of annoying because it was like, from the first round, it was just like, okay, I got this wrong. Luckily, I didn't have any money on it, but I picked it and I shared it with y'all, and it gives me anxiety and it pisses me off, and I had to sit there for 3 rounds and just watch him lose. Next, Mano Martinez and Brandon Davis. I was pretty confident in this one. Brandon Davis he has some power in his hands. He doesn't let it go enough. And you see it later in the fight that he started to when he felt like he had to. But I just thought Martinez was quicker, a little more calculated. And you can kind of look at Davis's record. I think he was with the UFC and then out. And he went on a little win streak and came back and lost again. It just tells me that he's good for lower competition, but he's not a UFC guy. I think that his days are numbered in the UFC again. Just at the end of the road with that. I mean, I think he's reached his peak, and he wasn't going to mess with Martinez. So I had a second parlay. So the second parlay started with Mano Martinez over Davis. I took Alonzo and then I took Victor Henry, and then I took Toradov. So it stopped there. I think I had a 4 pick, or maybe a 5 pick with Jonathan. I didn't have the main event on it. And obviously Henry killed that one. But Alonso looked good, kind of did what I thought he was going to do. Misha just has too many losses. I mean, if you look at the guy, he looks like a iron statue. But coming in too many losses, he's just been losing. And that's a real thing to me. So, and which will take us into the next one I'll explain. But I thought Menifield would get probably a knockout. When you watch Menifield versus Knight, this dude is a monster, William Knight. That's a scary. If you go back and watch this fight, I mean this dude could blow on you like a birthday can and probably put you in the hospital. Not because of his breath, because of his power. But yeah, that one was a pretty clear one to me. As long as Menifield didn't gas out I mean, basically going for a knockout and get gassed out. And I didn't see anything that showed me he would, so it was pretty obvious. This one here, this is the one that I'm mad at myself for picking Henry. The Maximov, it is what it is. I can lean on the injury excuse. Sun Sao, if he would have had 2 losses coming in, I would have picked him. Again, I just don't like all this losing. And really, I love Ricky Simone. Obviously, everybody knows that Sandhagen and is the man. I mean, fought Marlon Morales, and we see how Marlon Morales is going. He lost to him, but either way, given it was a couple of years ago, it's still your last 5 fights. But ultimately, when I saw he lost to Cody Garbrandt, and I think that was that one where Cody caught him at the end of the round and just clipped him. I used to think the world of Cody Garbrandt. I think now he has no place in a ring. That's a whole other discussion. I didn't watch much on Henry. There wasn't much to watch on Henry. I knew who Sun Sao was. Like I said, I appreciate him and his skills. But if this would have been just 2 fights here, like say if it was just Sandhagen and Simone, I would have taken him as the dog. But when you put 4 losses together and the last 2 were stoppages, it's not a good sign of where things are heading, especially somebody at his age. And I looked at Henry real quick. I thought he had the speed, the footwork to move around and kind of pick some points and just get the job done. I was wrong. I should have done a little more homework and given Rafael the edge there. So ultimately, I feel like I should have only missed 1. I missed 2 because this is a bonehead pick by me. So I apologize to anybody who took that pick. Because of me, I saw pretty much everybody across the board take it. I don't think it's because of me. So, yeah, it is what it is. With Jordan Wright and we'll say Dusko. My thought here was that Jordan Wright had all the knockout power in the world and he could get it done, but he gasses out. He fights reckless. I think if that dude had a better coach, and I don't know if it's his coach or it's just him and he doesn't listen to his coach, he has the skills. If he would just calm down and put things together and wait on his opportunity to knock somebody out. I mean, if he fought just like Alonzo Menifield, if he fought in that style, just more calculated. He goes balls to the wall and he gasses out. And actually, one of Instagram followers was asking me live while we were watching about betting, and he was going to put everything he had left after Henry blew his parlay. He was going to put everything on Wright. And I told him, exactly, I'm telling you now, it's kind of risky. Again, this is, besides the 2 women fights, this was the fight that I was a little iffy on. And I said that Wright could blow his load. And that's exactly what happened. Second round, Dusko came out and put a fury on him. I mean, nonstop. That was quite impressive that he didn't gas out. So it went the way I thought it could, the way I was leaning with it, and so yeah, that went down the way I thought it would. Jonathan Martinez, Cub Swanson. I didn't see obviously Cub getting stopped by leg kicks, but I mean Cub is a veteran. He's not to a point where like Cowboy was, where it was just like, okay, everybody and their mom is going to beat this guy who steps in the octagon with him. Cub can still catch somebody. I mean, his last 5 is not something to really gawk at. I mean, he's still, even with that loss, that's 3 wins of his last 5. Now, when you're fighting Elkins, some of these I'm looking at, okay, you're still fighting people that are up there in age or have had as many fights as him. But Jonathan Martinez is just, he's too young, too good. I really like him. And I just thought that his youthfulness, he was going to be able to move around. Swanson was never going to catch him. I thought maybe at some point he could probably get a knockout. Again, I didn't think it would be by leg kicks. That's pretty awesome. But that was pretty obvious. The main event, I was back and forth. Really early on when I looked at this card, I try not to look ahead of cards unless it's a pay-per-view or something like 280 that I've been looking at for like 3 months or ever since they were really announced. Viviani, I started with her and looking at her pace and how she's yoked. I mean, she's just power moving back and forth, being able to stick people and move. But when I looked at Grasso, and I picked Grasso, and then I went back to it later in the week, and I was like, man, maybe Viviani. And every time I just go back and watch Grasso, it was obvious that Grasso's boxing was so tight and so clean, so precise. I really didn't think of Vivian as a takedown threat. A lot of people thought that she would do that. I never even, from what I've watched on her, I never really thought that that was going to be part of her game plan. I thought they were going to trade punches, sit there and bang, and that's what happened. I just thought Grasso was way more crisp and cleaner. I kind of liken it to the Rodriguez-Sam Hughes fight. I mean, they're pretty much the way I thought they were going to go. I thought the tight boxing was just going to overcome it. If she got taken down, she was going to be able to get up. I think she's just more focused, more tuned in. Her fight IQ, it was just her time. So that went the way I thought it was going to go. Ultimately, it was a good night. Like I said, I went 9-2. Wish I had gone 10-1. I'll excuse the Maximov, whatever happened there. Won't ever bet on him again. But, you know, honestly, should have got everything right. Yeah, but I rushed it. That was a week where, honestly, my hardest part about putting in my picks was that I didn't see a lot of underdogs. And I like to usually pick 2 or 3 dogs that I believe can win or are going to win. I looked at this, I was like, man, this is not a dog week. And I was pretty confident in that. And when it's not a dog week, it's pretty easy. You just pick the favorites if you don't find any dogs you believe in. So, overall, I like my analysis of the week and felt pretty good about it. Now, aside from that, we just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. I just shared that with a story. And if anybody's been following me knows, I don't think we're at 1,001. I don't know. All right, so I've been promising once we hit 1,000 followers, we're going to do a parlay split. So basically, my money backing your picks and be our winnings. So what will happen is I'm going to offer up some money, whether it's a $20 parlay, $30, whatever. We might get crazier than that at some point. What we'll do is I'll put it out there to everybody on my stories. I'll probably put a synopsis of this video or a little snippet and let everybody know. Basically how this is going to work is I'm going to give, say, $20. I'm going to say I'm going to do a $20 parlay split. You send me your picks. I'm going to look at everybody's picks. They message me. I'm going to look at something that doesn't look ridiculous. I want to win. I want us to win. So if you send me something crazy and you pick every dog on the card, I'm not going to do it. So what I'm looking at is probably maybe, I don't know, 4 to 7 pick. Anywhere in between there, a parlay you want to send me. Again, you want this to be a pretty confident bet. You believe in it, you just don't have the money or you don't want to put your money down. Why would you when I could put mine down and give you half the money that we win? So you send me your pick. I'm going to request in order to be eligible for this. You send me your pick. You follow me on YouTube. I need to see a screenshot of you following the page on YouTube. Aside from that, I'm going to take a couple of the favorites that I like. And at the end of the week, probably Friday night, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do probably a live video. I'll take all the names, the bets that I like that are realistic, and the people who followed the YouTube, send me proof of that. They'll need to like the YouTube video. And from there, I will pick a name or two or however many I want to do each week or when I'm doing this. And basically, I'm going to place the bet on Bovada. I'll share the screenshot with everybody. That bet's in. We can follow it along with the event. We're going to do one for 280. This is what I've been anticipating, and I figure we get to 1,000 followers the week of 280. And we win. I'll split the winnings 50-50. Give me your Cash App, your Venmo. I'll send you half the money. We're going right away and keep doing this. So again, it'll be my money, your picks, our winnings. We'll split it. Parlay splits. So it's going to be something that we're going to be doing on the page. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. I'm most live on the Instagram, most active on Instagram, trying to grow the YouTube page. So it's kind of part of this deal too. So like I said, it'll come with the stipulations. If you like and following the YouTube page, send me proof of that. Liking a video, send me proof of that. And then we'll correspond back and forth. But this will be really fun. It's going to be awesome for us to watch together on 280 and watch along. I appreciate y'all watching the video through my allergies and whatnot. But awesome.